We were building the classroom tower at Wizard Academy when we learned that the laws protecting the rights of the physically challenged required us to buy a $100,000 elevator. This might sound strange, but 6-story elevators are difficult to buy. The elevator industry assumes that anyone who needs an elevator that tall is a commercial builder who knows what they're doing. There's not a lot of help available for knuckleheads like me who don't really know what they need, so I hired an elevator consultant to guide me. I began to get suspicious when he said he was willing to help me for free. My suspicion deepened when he told me what I already knew. He said, "There are really only 3 elevator companies." But then he added, "And the only one you definitely don't want to deal with is Otis." He chatted and tried to bond with me. Then he got back to me a few days later with proposals from the 2 companies that were not Otis. I finally figured out that my consultant was an independent broker and Otis wasn't willing to pay him a sales commission. So I found another consultant. This one charged me a small consulting fee, a little too small, I feared. Then he began telling me that the people at Otis were horrible liars and gave horrible service, and that their prices were ridiculously high. And all I could hear him saying was, "You really need to call Otis." Like the first consultant, this one gave me proposals from the non-Otis companies. And then I called Otis. As you probably expected, Otis gave me amazing service and answered all my questions. I have total confidence that my Otis elevator is better in every way than those elevators I was offered by the other 2 companies, and the Otis price, $3,000 lower than the lowest of the other 2 prices I had been quoted. You know I love you, right? I've been writing radio ads for small business owners for 35 years, and my clients have spent nearly $1 billion on radio during the past 3 decades. Radio is responsible for whatever success I now enjoy. As I said, I love you, I'm your friend. And as your friend, I have to do what a real friend does. I've got to speak up when I think you're making a mistake. Methinks that thou doth protest too much about Pandora. I read what radio's leadership is saying, and like every intelligent reader, I hear more than is actually spoken. And what I'm hearing right now is, Pandora scares the hell out of us. It's hard to read the label when you're inside the bottle. None of us can see ourselves in the way that others see us. We need a friend on the outside who is willing to tell us the truth. My media buyers and I sit on the opposite side of the table from you. You want the highest unit rate you can convince us to pay. We want the maximum reach and frequency we can squeeze from our client's budget. This puts me on the outside the echo chamber, outside the feedback loop. Please remember, I'm on your side. Radio's only strategy regarding Pandora seems to be, prove it, prove it, prove it. You don't have the audience you claim. Ha! Radio's leaders are saying that Pandora is lying. Hell, maybe they are. That's not the point. What I'm saying is that I probably would have never called Otis if those consultants hadn't pushed quite so hard to discredit them. Back in the day when General Motors was the undisputed king of car making, a fellow named Felix Wankel created a motor that had no pistons. This rotary engine got a lot of public attention, even though it was essentially an unproven technology. Yet in November of 1970, General Motors paid Wankel a licensing fee of $50 million so that they could make rotary engines if they ever chose to do so. Now keep in mind, the word millionaire had the same impact back in 1970 as the word billionaire today. $50 million was a staggering sum of money. To my knowledge, GM has never marketed a car with a rotary engine. But the fact that they could, if they chose to do so, is impressive. Now, a few years ago, Rolex USA mentioned to me that my little firm represents more Rolex jewelers than any other firm in North America. But less than half my jewelry clients sell Rolex. And those who don't sell Rolex know it's fruitless to say that a watch is, quote, just as good as a Rolex, unless you're also an official Rolex jeweler. Those jewelers who successfully sell other brands of luxury watches in high volume are always Rolex jewelers. You can't sell against Rolex unless you carry Rolex. Pandora is working extremely well for my clients in cities that are internet forward. Less well in cities that aren't tech cities. But the trend seems to be that every city is slowly becoming more tech oriented, don't you think? My suspicion is that Pandora's effectiveness stems from their lack of clutter. 3 minutes per hour is the maximum Pandora spot load. Streaming your online signal, in my opinion, does not make you a competitor to Pandora. Limit your streaming signals to a spot load of just 3 minutes per hour and raise your streaming rates. And now you're a legitimate online competitor. Now you're selling Rolex. Now you're selling Otis. I'm Roy H. Williams.